looking at old Levi's Type 3s in vintage stores, what makes them really beautiful is the rippling on the V's, and on the seams and on the cuffs. Like if you bought a raw denim jacket, there's no way to achieve that color and that look just through natural wear.
Right, today I've got a bit of a hot take for you. Washed denim. It's not all that bad. I'm just gonna let that sink in for a second. Okay, so the happening that prompted this particularly controversial statement was the release of these. This is a pair of 316 101 XS. And as you can quite clearly see, the jeans are stonewashed, which if you're new to the brand might not seem like much of a thing. But if you're looking at it from a denim head point of view, it might strike you as an odd move. You see, 316. For sure, we know them for making great hoodies, great shirts, great t-shirts, great jackets. But if I'm asking you, what do 316 do? You'd likely answer, they make jeans. And they do make jeans. They make damn good jeans. In fact, it says it on their website. Until now, those jeans were pretty much in line with what we come to expect in the raw denim realm. So, Japanese denim sewn together in the US, raw, selvage. All good things. For sure. And indeed, all of the good things that we associate with those things, so the Japanese denim, the American manufacture, the fact that the garments are made well, they're made the best that they possibly can be, the fact that they are made in such a way that they're going to age well. Andrew and Johan, the founders of 316, they built the brand around about those principles. So if we know them for that, and we associate them with their jeans, their raw, selvage denim jeans, as I said, it might appear to be a bit of an odd move to release a wash. We're left wondering just, what's going on? So I asked them.
I don't have a good answer. I think we, as a brand, when you operate for a long time, you need to evolve, you need to be flexible, and we try not to be so rigid in the way that we see the brand and the way that we operate.
I think if you asked us 10 years ago if we'd ever make a washed jean, the answer would be very different.
Of course, we're never going to make a bad product. We're never going to make a poor quality product or one that we don't stand behind. But as people's tastes change, as our tastes change, as what our team here and in New York want us to make changes, we have to sort of rethink the way that we made jeans.
Even we as people, as designers, as brand owners, we're changing too. And you can see that in our clothes. I think that's something that customers shouldn't discount, Our life stages have changed, our tastes have, changed as well. And then what we're looking for out of clothes has changed as well.
Having kids changes your life a lot. It flips it upside down. And so being comfortable is a huge part of our lives now. And wearing things that we can crouch down in, that we can pick up a baby in, that we can go to the park and play in the sandbox in, that we can get wet or get stained in, and having a fabric that is just a little bit more broken in and not super stiff and crunchy makes a huge difference. I think that's a big part of it, and it doesn't just apply to our jeans. It's sort of applying to everything that we're designing now.
And it kind of went in phases. First, we were doing only raw, and then we started introducing light garment rinses to certain fabrics. And the reason behind that was, especially with our Kabata line, our loom state 14-ounce low tension Japanese fabric that we initially developed to be an unsanforized shrink to fit jean. What we realized is that the fabric doesn't really come alive until after you rinse it. Meaning that even though it's loom state, it is still kind of flat and there is some texture to it, but after the soak, the blues really come out, the fabric gets even bumpier, it just gets a lot more interesting. And a lot of our customers weren't really able to see where it was going to go when they either picked it up in a store or even if they bought it and tried it on at home. So to us, that initial rinse really helped get the fabric there. And there are customers out there who like to, have that end-to-end experience of having a jean, shrinking it down to fit for themselves for maximum fade capabilities. But as we wore these jeans in ourselves, we saw that there was absolutely no difference from a factory rinse versus a soak in your own tub. And the benefits outweighed the downsides. So that was kind of our first foray into it. On the other side with our garments, we were finding that certain fabrics just lent themselves better to an initial wash down, starting with shirting, some of our jackets. And we've experimented on both ends. We've looked at it at the mill level. So spring summer 20s 5x5 denim that was made in a type 1 jacket, modified type 1, and a pair of fatigue pants. If you can imagine like making a pair of fatigue pants out of raw denim, it just wouldn't translate very well. What makes fatigue pants look really cool is the fact that the fabric drapes and stacks and just kind of moves. And so the only way we could ever perceive ourselves making a denim fatigue pant is to use one that was already broken in. So we didn't garment wash that. That fabric was washed at Nihon Menpu and then delivered to us to sew into garments. So there's a lot of different angles that kind of brought us along to the point where we started rinsing, giving heavy rinses to all of our lightweight fabrics to create more differentiation in the line. At first glance, a 12 ounce and a 14.5 ounce don't look that different. And you could argue that, maybe you want a light one for the springtime and the summertime, but if we gave that a heavy rinse, now it really is a totally different garment. And for a lot of our customers, they were finding that it wasn't just one light wash jean for one customer and one heavy crunchy jean for the other customer. They were buying both of them and they were using them at different times of the year. So that brings us to the stonewash. We started this experiment out with the type 3 jacket last year. Between us, truth be told, people kept asking us to make a raw indigo type 3 jacket. So we did, and nobody wanted it. And it was sitting around for a while. And so we thought, looking at old Levi's type 3s in vintage stores, what makes them really beautiful is the rippling on the V's, and on the seams and on the cuffs. And we thought, why don't we send this to our wash house and see if we can develop a stone wash that we like. And our rules were as such. We didn't want to distress the jacket in any way. We didn't want to have anybody manually put wear where there wasn't wear, if that makes sense.
And for me, I always tell people, if I were to try and buy a pair of pre-faded jeans with all the distressing, where those lines are would not match up with my body, and it would just look ridiculous because I have a really short inseam. And so where the honeycombing would be behind the knees, it would be like on my calves, and where maybe some of the thigh marks would be where my knees are. And so those things we feel like cannot be recreated well. It just looks better when it's actually personal to the wearer. But having something that is rinsed or stone washed and where the seams have that puckering and have that lightening in color, that's something that's very difficult to do at home and very difficult to do just from purely wearing your jeans.
We didn't get as much blowback on launching a stone wash jean as part of me thought that we might have gotten. That might be because we've already kind of broken our customers down over the years already. We've already swerved left enough times to where they're like, all right, here they go. And that's okay. Nobody is expected to stick with one brand or dress one way their entire lives, because they're going through the same transitions that we are. But what's been fun is that some of these customers are seeing things in a similar way.
It's also reaching a different customer. We have tons of customers who have been with us for a long time who are buying them, but we also have a lot of customers, especially now that we have 2 retail stores where we have a lot of foot traffic from people who don't know about the history of the brand and aren't familiar with what we do. They may not be as well versed in raw denim and that entire world and that entire process, but they do want a good feeling, good fitting pair of jeans, and that's where we can sort of provide something for them that they'd understand.
I mean, especially since we opened up our New York store almost a year ago now, there have been times where customers will come in and they're clearly not raw denim guys, or maybe not even denim guys. They're young, they dress well, they're into clothes, they like things that are made well, but they might not be familiar with our small subsection of the market that we occupy. And for a long time, they would come and Our jeans are prominently displayed right when you walk in on the left side. You can't miss them. And it is a sea of indigo and navy and black. You could tell that there was just nothing on the rack that was there for them. If they were wearing jeans, they weren't going to be wearing those jeans. And they would come around and they would look at some of the other things that we make. And of course, if there was interest, we would walk them through what we did. But we just realized there was some customers out there that there was nothing for them. And that's okay. As a brand, there are always going to be things that you make that are not going to be for certain customers. We're not going to compromise on quality. We're not going to make something that we don't personally believe in or are excited about. But this was something that we were already thinking about doing. And so the next step after the Type 3 jacket was to give the jeans a shot. We also have stylistic choices on it. We are only making them in our CS, which is our vintage straight leg, high rise. And in a few weeks, our CT will be launching, which is also one of our looser fits. I don't think we have any interest in making a stonewashed, tight, tapered jean. At least in the way that we see it being worn and the way that we're styling it out, there's just no need for that. But for people who like those two fits, it kind of goes hand in hand with like a washed down, comfortable fabric. It should be loose on you. It should flow and move with you. So those were kind of we still have limitations even as we launch into new, ground that we haven't necessarily touched on before. And it's already been working. We've had customers come in and be immediately drawn to and purchase the stonewashed jeans and then come back 2 weeks later and say, listen, these are the best jeans that I own. I'd like to see more of what you do. And that is a doorway for them to look at the other 99% of bottoms that we make. And so that's been exciting too. You find it in to create the conversation for them. And from that point on, now we can talk about what we love about jeans, and what makes our jeans that are stonewashed better than another pair of stonewashed jeans. Like, the components are all still there. We're not washing down some cheap fabric here, and the proof is in the way that it looks, even if it's stonewashed.
I have one more thing that I was thinking about. I think if you look at our company and our brand over the years, we haven't ever gone too hard to the left or too hard to the right. And what I mean by that is, like, even when we were operating very heavily in the vintage Americana, raw selvage world, we were sort of oftentimes seen as a sort of entry-level product because sitting next to some of the Japanese brands, our product was less expensive and a little bit more accessible. It was sanforized. It was stylistically and the way that it was branded, it was a lot more minimal and modern compared to some of the Japanese brands. And so I think it's always kind of been in our company DNA to be able to make product for a wider audience. And even when we were selling and continue to sell to the VMCs and the Selvedges of the world, we were also able to sit in different stores and be worn by people who weren't really heavily into that style of clothing. And so I feel like the rinse jeans and the stonewashed jeans sort of continue in that vein, in that we're trying to make really well-made garments for people who care about their clothes and who want a quality garment, but maybe are not fully into one look and fully prescribed to a singular look. And we like our clothes and the things that we make to be worn in a lot of different contexts and to be able to be worn by a lot of different people.
Okay, so that's their reasoning. That's their take. And here's mine. Here's why I think the washed denim is really not all that bad. The reasons are twofold. They start at polar opposites, but they meet in the middle at the same conclusion. First off, if you're enjoying this video, like, a sub to the channel would be amazing. And one of those thumbs up, one of those likes, that would be incredible. It really does help us out. First off, the denim head. The guy who's known the brand from the get-go. The guy that associates them with raw Selvedge denim. I am that guy. I've been into raw Selvedge denim for a good long time now. And I've known the brand for going on 10 years. I've seen and I've experienced that arc that I think that most denim heads go through. The discovery, the fascination, that first project pair, that first experience of fading a pair of jeans. Actually, I'd go as far to say as the experience of what a quality garment is for the very first time. And with that experience comes the desire to find the qualities afforded by a pair of raw Selvedge denim jeans, to find them in other garments. It's why we all end up in a kind of uniform, so a pair of Selvedge denims, a pair of Red Wings, a Filson shirt. It's a good thing. We should look for quality and value in what we spend our money on. But it does come with a bit of a flip side. That fervent dedication to raw denim, unless it's Selvedge, unless it's raw, unless it's made in Japan, unless it's made in the USA, it's utter crap. We get blinkers on and we tend to get a bit militant in the whole subject. As things go on, that interest in quality jeans develops into an interest in quality clothing, in quality menswear, in men's style. And with that, your range of influences, it widens. You start to want more than just that lumbersexual uniform. You start to understand that those aspects of quality are found in an abundance of items. And after many, many years, after many forays into the sartorial savannah, you wake up one day thinking to yourself, you know what? I just want a pair of stonewashed jeans. Okay, philosophizing aside, taking myself far, far too seriously aside, I think it's totally normal for our needs, our desires, our tastes to change with time. I was 28 when I put on my first pair of raw Selvedge denim jeans. And at that time, I was perfectly happy to wear these things day in, day out for 18 months straight without washing them. I'm almost 40 now, and quite frankly, fuck that. I want a little bit of variety. I want a little bit of comfort. And I'm guessing a lot of you guys out there, you will as well. Right, so that's one side of the coin. Here's the other. Imagine you had no idea what raw denim was. You just walked into a store wanting a decent pair of jeans and somebody handed you a pair of raws. I'd imagine, actually no, I've seen it. Most guys are just like, what are these? Nah, I'm good thanks. I'll take something that's not going to give me bruises. That guy should be afforded the possibility of getting a super good pair of jeans. And yeah, I mean, this could be them. And that guy goes off. He's super, super happy with his new jeans. And it might stop there. But maybe he's wondering what the funny color stitching is running down the outside. Maybe he has a Google. Maybe he drops by the store and has a chat with the guys there. Maybe his next pair of jeans are a pair of unwashed. Maybe he goes all in, unwashed, unsanforized, raw, Selvedge denim. All of a sudden, we've got another blues brother. These jeans could be that gateway drug for somebody into the world of raw denim. But equally, somebody might just get a dope pair of jeans. And both are good outcomes. Okay, I want to say one last thing in this particular pair, this particular style. This is a pair of stonewashed jeans, which I know is blatantly obvious. But stonewashed are exactly that. They're stonewashed. They're in their own little sartorial section. Washes that fake fades are something that I really don't fuck with. I mean, yes, there are brands out there that do decent approximations of a faded pair of raw Selvedge jeans, but they're rare. I'd say 99.9999% of the examples out there that are trying to do this are pure and utter crap. And even if they are good, as Johan says, maybe the fades just don't fit. Maybe your honeycombs are where your stacks should be. But these are a pair of jeans with all of the things that us denim heads demand. They're just lighter. To wrap this up, this pair of jeans, this step that 316 has taken, it offers folk like me, folk like us, options. And it offers the guy who's just stepped in the store for a pair of decent jeans, it offers him an option as well. And with this experience, perhaps his next pair of jeans are a pair of raw Selvedge denims. I mean, why not? So, yeah, that's why I think the washed denim is not all that bad. I'm really, really curious what you guys think. I mean, a couple of years ago, I would have never imagined that I'd be saying what I've just said. So I'm really looking forward to opening up the discussions in the comments below. Just drop me a line, let me know what you think. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And guys, as always, that just leaves me to say, I hope everyone is happy and healthy out there. I hope you're taking care of yourselves. I hope you're taking care of each other. I'm going to see you in the next video.